720 live. We are live.
Our line, according to this.
Yeah.
Hello, can
Hello,
you hear me?
people.
Hello, hello.
Have not got a phone,
Yeah,
but it's might be because it's on my phone or my live. But what's up, people? So, as you may tell from the title, and hopefully you saw
a post.
the community post. Yeah, and Russ had actually made a community post also talking about today's live. Um, I'm glad we're able to go live with this information, which I'm sure a lot of people know, but it's a feather in the hat. It means a lot to me to be able to get the scoop from the man himself. And I think that's pretty cool. But let's go in here and go in the chat and say hello to some people. We got Bat, which I nicknamed Radar. This
Oh,
dude, I post a video and he's on it in 5 seconds every time.
mm-hmm.
Not complaining, but it just amazes me. Like, how do you do that?
Yep. He's like,
This
last
guy,
post
this
wins.
guy here, we got a co-host. He's a co-host every once in a while, but got the googly eyes. Simon, yes, I can. BBQ, MBL, the shit stir. What's up, MBL? He's always stirring stuff, then he apologizes later. But I know it's all in the name of love. I enjoy it, buddy. I have a great time with you. We've sent some pretty serious emails back and forth, in-depth stuff. Um, but it was pretty cool. Some of the stuff he shared with me, and vice versa. Miss JDP, we'll see you when you come back. She was in a live fish sale last night, and she just barely hung on. I think she was the fourth vendor to sell stuff. And I don't even know. I mean, it may have been pushing 11 o'clock, and that's not normal for her. NBL, we got Mr. Tom Food Factory. What's up, Tom? And I may have just missed a comment of yours or something last week, Tom. I do apologize. Can't remember what it was. It was involved in you, and I skipped over it or something. Then I realized it later on um, that I had missed it. So I do apologize. NBL spamming again. That, where's Christopher?
He's late.
I figured Christopher being all in here.
But I'll be here in a bit.
Mr. Hojo, how's it going, Hojo? So I saw a lot of the Frack Daddy. I see Frack Daddy down there. Got a
Yeah.
sneak peek. I want to be able to stay for a while live stream, but I wanted to pop up on because I am grateful for all the content over the years. Very cool. Very cool. We've got him backstage right now. He's trying to get Derek's camera straightened out so we can bring them both up on the live on the panel. And so hopefully you'll still be around then. Mr. Judge Webb himself, the man with the golden heart. Man, I still can't get over um, that brisket you sent to me, Jeff. That was just super cool. And there's a lot of people that were in the chat, watched that video, that feel the same way about you, Jeff. That was a pretty cool thing. Um, I just,
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
That is a new thing that YouTube is doing. They're ranking the people in the chat by how active they are in the chat.
Yeah, I've seen that lately. I'm not sure what all that's about.
Doesn't affect anything. It's just try to keep. I guess it's trying to people engaged so that there's more conversation in the chat.
Right. What's up, Frack? Good to see you in here, buddy. Saw you at the benefit yesterday. It was cool.
Yeah,
Of
because we
course,
did Jared yesterday.
Georgia Mike. What's up, Georgia Mike? Radar. That's you.
They put Jared to work yesterday in one of the pits.
What about it?
They put him to work yesterday.
Is that right? I saw everybody making comments about putting Smoking Joe and how much he looked like. Oh God, Mo Cason.
Yeah,
And I had to agree with that. He sort of kind of did. I didn't realize that was Smoking Joe. I saw aim him, claim him.
yeah. It was right next to him.
Yeah, I saw him in one of the videos. How dare you? But I didn't. Uh, but when I don't know. I guess someone else posted a live. It may have been after hours. May have been your live or someone's live. That I
Rick put him
noticed.
sometimes.
Yeah, that I noticed Smoking Joe there. I started watching when Rick had that camera set up at, I guess, the order table, I'll say, the
Yeah,
table where we're going
yeah,
to
right when
place.
they were doing the tickets and all that.
Yeah. What's up, Scotty? Man, you got me confused with them Facebook posts,
Yeah,
but I'm just grateful it ended the way it did. So happy endings. Oh, let's see. Uncle Smiley. How you doing, Uncle Smiley? Some of these fish people in here, I don't know. Well, some of them are actually. There's what's the number? Oh, you already answered that one. Some of the people that are in the fish community have actually already following Russ. It's coming out that a lot of those guys, are pretty serious backyard barbecuers. What's up, Guggen? Jorge, Mexicali. So Jorge, uh, he interviewed me. Was it last week? Last Monday? Was that the Monday before last? That was a great interview. Thank you again, Jorge. I think I picked up a couple subs from that. Ty, what's up, Ty? Man, I started watching your videos when you were building your filtration room. You're
that's amazing.
you were building the deck, I think, for your pond, and then I actually one of your ideas to polish the water. I got from you. Cook 15 tri-stick trips. Good Lord. Trey Bergeron. Damoose, what's up, Damoose? Damoose. My belly's full, man. I fired up that park grill again today.
Yeah,
Try to make smash burgers off that griddle plate. It was probably an 80% success.
okay.
Some of them did stick. I don't know quite. It's probably because I tried to flip them. I was trying to. I mean, I finished eating and washing things up at 6:05, so I had to run out here and get this going. But I may have been rushing them. Didn't allow the burger to release from the from the plate, but they were great. It was my own grind, with the brisket and whatever else I trimmed, throughout the year. Added some fat in there, and then I grind in a jalapeno bacon at the end. And I mean, it just it makes a great hamburger. So I did do that, and then I did some wings on that too. But I did that thing where we were talking last week about how I wanted to toss them in sauce, and then after they're cooked, toss them in sauce and put them on a sear plate. See if I can get get them to crisp up on the plate. It worked, but that sauce was pretty hot. It was pretty hot, so I only did 3. I was happy with it, and I said, "I'm good. I gotta go." Believe Lance squeeze. Yeah, that was barely a squeeze. I mean, I put a little bit of pressure on it. I saw it coming out on its own. I was like, "Really?" And I just put a little bit of pressure on it, and that wasn't even a squeeze, Googie. He gave me hell for doing that. Fish Family Link is up and alive. How you doing, Fish Family Link?
This is like a night pot, right?
It's like a Nightbot. Yeah. It alerts people on a Discord channel, and
Cool.
I'm not sure. I don't really. I'm still trying to learn it all myself. There'll be
Uh,
more content posted about Rick's.
like all the content creators were recording stuff, so you might see it like this coming week or so. Like my video should probably be out this Saturday. From
Okay,
the
so you have more than what you posted then.
Oh yeah, I just posted pictures.
Okay,
There's Chris.
that's cool.
But yeah, everybody was filming content, so there should be a few videos out there.
See if Russ, if he could, wonder if Derek can hit that little camera button on his top toolbar for his website. See if there's a camera over on the far right. Click that camera. Maybe blocking them. It was a lot of fun. I bet you it was, man. I just, damn, Texas has all the fun. But I wish I could have been there, but it didn't happen. You know, what can I do? Didn't happen. Yeah, Simon just reminded me. So anybody who wants their channel posted, just type sleeper in the chat or 805 in the chat, and your link will come up so people can go check you out. It looked like it was good. Look, they had a good crowd.
Yeah.
At that benefit, and
Yeah,
Rick was he was busy. I was like, man, look at him go. Shit.
yeah. Once the food was ready, people started showing up right around 11 to pick up their plates. So everybody had different stations, so they had to go to every station and grab their bite of food, and then go and deliver to the front table there. So Rick was going back and forth all day long.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. So, because I've seen some people have like, grocery bags with
Yeah.
handles on them, and you could tell there was containers. And I saw some people
Yeah.
carry
So,
the styrofoam containers out separately.
mhm.
So that's what Rick was doing. So if you ordered beef ribs and I don't know brisket, he was running to those stations and
So
getting that.
that was cooked was all included in the plate, in the foam plates. So you got a little bit of everything: sausage and tri-tip,
Okay,
the wings, the shredded chicken, the shredded pork butt, or pulled pork. Someone had a beef clod. They shredded that to make shredded beef,
right?
and then the tri-tips were made into sandwiches.
Is that right? I saw all the tri-tips
Yeah, hanging.
hanging.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I got the video of that, so y'all see that.
That was pretty cool.
But yeah, so the bags were actually container were the containers of food being given to the customer.
Thank you, Trey. We're about to bring them up here shortly, I hope. Like, we could probably hear Derek. He's muted right now.
Why don't you bring up Russ and we'll get stuff sorted out.
So we get an update. So we're
Yeah,
going for up.
Derek can't seem to get his camera working. He's got a red light on his camera. He got his
Okay.
audio working, I think, but I told him worst case scenario would just have to have his audio. A lot of people do that anyway. That don't want to be
Audio.
seen.
Yeah.
But
What I was saying, up on your website, where you're like where the web page is that you're on, in the far right, where there's favorite star, there's a little camera. See if that's clicked on or if it's got a line going through it as being off.
oh yeah, he was looking through his camera settings inside of his machine because he went to the settings on StreamYard and it's pointed towards his integrated camera, but it's not working
Yeah.
for some reason.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
We could do audio.
What's up,
Yeah.
everybody in the chat?
Or you can hold up a picture of them beside you if you want, Russ.
Oh well, if we don't have nothing but his audio, that's
Perfectly fine. That's
he ain't gonna
perfectly
talk a whole lot. No, I can tell you, unless you ask him a question, then he might.
fine. Yeah. So The reason for this live, well, not we always go live on Sundays, but the main reason for this one, and it's because Russ Smoky Ribs BBQ is passing the torch to his son Derek, and I got to tell you, Russ, I'm very privileged to be able to do this live. I mean, I don't know if anybody else, came forth, but I just something popped in my head. I said, wow, we need to have a live with Russ and Derek, maybe talk about things that are, you know, coming up and et cetera. I've got some, hey, Lori, oh, I just skipped right over Cheryl, didn't I? I saw her, but I'm sitting around, I can't talk and think. What's up, Cheryl? So, I've been coming up with some stuff, some questions and all that. I think they're pretty decent questions. If there's stuff that Derek or yourself don't want to answer, like, which of your boys is your favorite, that kind of stuff, Russ. I'm kidding.
But Derek's
up,
my
Brent?
older. I
Yeah,
don't have a
Derek
favorite.
is
I
the
love them
oldest,
both,
yeah. Yeah, Derek
But,
and God, I just thought of it earlier. Derek and Chad, right?
Yep.
Chad is the other one.
Derek Scott Jones and Michael Chad Jones.
I can't. He changed his name to Bare Bottom Branton. He got that nickname somehow or another. I don't even know the whole story, but it's not really a conversation two guys have, I guess. But
Go ahead and bring Derek up, and if you want to, and then if he gets his camera working,
yeah, we got him. I'll keep an eye on him down there, but
yeah,
he's not.
and then
He's not muted anymore. I see.
okay, Derek, can you hear us?
I hear y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
you're fine. We don't have to have your video. I know what you look like.
Well, I ain't the prettiest thing.
Well, you ain't the ugliest thing either.
Yeah.
You did take after me, so.
What's up, RJ? So we're probably going to get into the question. I'm trying to get close to the bottom of this thing here. We're about to hit 17 subs, so everyone sub 2,000. Congrats.
I'm drinking a Bloody Mary. If anybody wants to know, I have been busting my butt all day on this Volkswagen. Don't ever work on a German-made vehicle, is all I can tell you. The Bloody Mary is going to turn into a Bloody Maria here shortly. Tequila. I mean, Tarina said, I got tequila. I said, okay. She got a whole pot of this V8 stuff she makes. It's good.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I used to work on Type 1 VW Bugs. What's up, brother Steven?
But this ain't a bug.
Years.
This is actually a really nice sedan.
Right.
It's,
Right. But you're talking about don't work on Volkswagen. I used to work on them for years. Used to soup them up. I even have a picture and a trophy where I restored
Beetles. The Beetles were easy to work on. I ain't talking about no Beetles. I'm talking about modern day freaking German ingenuity. Golly. They go out of their way to make things difficult, I think so, anyway.
If I remember the story correctly, there was even something that they weren't. I think there was some type of legal suit that the diesels didn't pass emissions like they said they were. So I think Volkswagen, if I remember correctly, was actually fined for that.
To our EPA, more likely, yeah.
Yeah. There's a question for you from Tom's Food Factory.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. What's the question? Okay, so Russ from Smoky Ribs will Derek. Wait a minute.
Derek.
So Russ from Smoky Ribs will be Derek from Smoky Ribs. Yes.
Yep.
It will be. Now I'm not done completely.
Right.
I've still got to do some videos. You might see we're just now in June, and I'm behind on the video. It's supposed to head out in May, but so much other crap going on. I was sick for 2 weeks, then got gout, and long story. But anyway, so I got to get that video out this week and still do another one for June. So you're going to see 7 more guaranteed videos out of me for the remainder of the year. And Derek's going to be doing whatever he does in between. And I told him I don't care what he does.
Right.
I signed everything over to him. He is primary owner of the channel. Any money
Okay.
that's made will be going to his bank account, not mine.
Right.
And I'll be getting my last check in June, and that'll be it. He'll be getting them from then on, and
Okay. So
he can work at whatever pace. I strove for years and years to get one video out every week, and I did. I worked then full time, and I remember having to work Saturdays and Sundays and stuff, and still managed to get a video out for that week, you know.
right.
And I
So
just
before you answer all my questions, before I ask them, let me. I've got pages here, and you've already rattled off 3 or 4 of them. So
yeah.
let me get ahead. So this is for Russ. Russ, do you remember your first cook? Your first video, I should say.
Uh, the very first one,
And what was it?
I know what the first couple were. I think the first one I ever did, I know it is. You could probably go back to YouTube and go all the way back as far back as they go, back to 2012, July. If I'm not mistaken, I did a barbecue shrimp type dish that Emerald Lagasse made. I had it printed out on a recipe, and I think that was the first one I ever did. Really good recipe. Of course, it didn't do nothing because nobody had ever heard of me, you know. Then I think the one after that was Trina made some biscuits, and I did some tomato gravy, and it just kind of went from there. You know, it was man, it was real raw at the beginning. It's still raw, but I mean, it was real raw. You know,
Right.
it was pretty much terrible. But that's you got to start somewhere. You know.
That's exactly right. I can think back at I think my first video, if you watch it, I think it's, you would think it's in a foreign language because I can't remember what I did. I had the audio playing slower than the frames per minute on the camera or something. So it was all, a learning thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember your first 2 videos, Lance. Like they're hard to
They
watch.
were, yeah, they were hard to watch. I'll be the first one to admit, but like Russ said, you got to learn somewhere.
Yeah, I figured it out as I went. Now, some channels like Chud, he's the first one that comes to mind. He did his homework for a whole year before he ever released his first video. And so I didn't do that, but I hit play and just roll with it. You know, whatever came out, came out. And I got better as time went. But he did it the right way, really, and it paid off.
So the other things that I had here is, is there anything? And I already know the answer because we've sort of kind of touched base on some of this stuff within a few lives. But I mean,
Yeah.
is there anything that you're really going to miss with the YouTube barbecuing?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's been a part of my life since 2012. And I mean, in a big way, everything revolved around YouTube with me for the longest time, and I've watched all the changes throughout the years, the good years, just everything has, and nothing is like it was when I got on here. I'll tell you that it has changed completely.
Right,
It's like a
right.
different world now. And that, I don't know. I guess I'm just at that point. I've had all the fun I want to have with that
Yeah.
channel. Now I do have the other channel, and I'm going to continue to make videos with it for a little while. I don't
Right.
know how long.
And we have that one, and that's going to be Skill Savvy. So that's the DIY channel that
That's the
you're
DIY
still going
channel.
to be pushing. You're just taking leave from the barbecue. Chris has a question here for Derek, which is another one of my questions. We'll
Yeah,
cross it up.
that's a good question. What's Derek's first cook going to be? Any ideas? All right, Derek, it's all yours.
Uh, yeah, everybody's heard of the pig shots. Well, I'm putting my spin on what I'm calling buck shots since I still got some deer meat left over from this past season. So that's what I'll be doing for the first cook.
Very
Buckshot.
cool.
That's catchy.
Buck. Yeah, I like that. Buck, as in buck. Deer
Yeah.
Yeah.
buck. I like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's gonna do things a little bit different than me. He's quite the outdoorsman, which he used to go deer hunting with me when he was just a little boy. He had a BB gun and I had a shotgun, and eventually got old enough to carry like a .410 slug, and then old enough to carry a shotgun, then a rifle, throughout the years. So,
Right.
and he's still avid outdoorsman. I kind of gave up on the hunting years ago. I still love to fish. Yeah.
Yeah. So Steven's already dug into the archive, and dusted them, removed the dust, and
That's it. Is that that is the first? Okay, I thought it
Emerald
was.
barbecue shrimp. Yeah.
Dang, that's not a bad memory for almost 13 years ago. That's a pretty in-depth video too. I mean,
So,
not the video, but the recipe itself. There's a lot
so
to it.
when you did that barbecue shrimp, I'm trying to keep track of this chat too. So when you did that, you did a barbecue chat at the first or second Iola car show. I believe you did a barbecue shrimp there, didn't you?
I did, but it's not the same
Not the
recipe.
same. Okay.
It's different.
I was wondering if that was the same
Yeah,
one
I,
then.
I have done barbecue shrimp on my channel probably 4 different times, 3 for sure. One was on a shrimp boat, one was that one, and one was back not long after I started, but it wasn't that one. It was a different one. That's still one of my favorite ways to eat Gulf shrimp. And it's not barbecue. It's not grilled. It's not smoked. It has nothing to do with barbecue sauce. It's the color of them is why they call it barbecue shrimp. It doesn't taste barbecuey at all. To me, that would
Right?
be disgusting. But I guarantee you would like it. Derek knows what they taste like.
Yep.
No, Chris, that's Chad, the other son.
Is Derek the son that has? Yeah, Chad has the pontoon boat. Derek's the one that used to live on the big shrimp boat. I mean, sailboat
So,
that we had. He lived on that sailboat for almost 4 years. He lived on it longer than I could. I promise you that.
so Russ sort of kind of touched base on it already. I mean, what's the future with Derek? I mean, are you going to take the channel in a total different direction? Are you still keeping the barbecue roots, Derek? Um, what's your thought there?
Yeah, I'll be sticking with the barbecue roots for sure because I just love barbecuing, and I do primarily the cooking here at the house every evening when I get home from work.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, why not just continue the channel and incorporate some of that? But I do have some other ideas that, even though I'm still using pits to do what I do, I've gotten real big into cast iron making, bread making, and trying to go back to some early days of things that are kind of forgotten, like the bread making and smoking my own country hams and all. And I'm wanting to incorporate some of that into the Smoky Ribs going forward.
Very nice. Very
Sounds
nice.
good. I'd like
Yeah,
that.
love all that. Love all those ideas. It's great.
He's a lot like me. That's kind of like, I probably got 3. I know I got 3 different how to make bacon videos. But that's just stuff that always interested me. That and sausage making. And Derek's
All right.
learned a certain amount about sausage making just from helping me do it. But matter of fact, he's want me to join him in a video this fall, and I've never heard of it. But according to him, it's starting to get popular, like in Texas, and it's a brisket boudin. I never heard of it.
Wow.
Yeah, but I said let me do some research so we don't botch it up. I know how to make real Louisiana pork boudin. I can make that all day long, but brisket boudin, that's a new one to me.
It's probably like a East Texas thing, probably.
Yeah, it's more of a Texas spin on boudin, but so we'll see.
Um, Before I forget, and I just jot that down there. Derek, congratulations on the upcoming baby. And
Oh,
Russ, again, thanks for our, not thanks, but a congratulations being a grandfather again.
Yeah, we went to a baby shower yesterday for that new baby. Sure
awesome.
did.
All right.
I was on work on that car and I forgot all about it. And Tarina's like, "We got to go to the baby shower." I'm like, "Oh crap!" I had plans to do yesterday what I've done today, trying to get this car done to give it back to the owner. And I'm that close. I just got to pull a vacuum and recharge it, and she can come get it.
All right.
Yeah,
Trying to get
first
some of these
grandboy.
questions here.
I got 3 granddaughters. This be the first grand boy. I was beginning to think nobody was going to have a boy to kind of carry the Jones name forward, to carry my leg of the tree, me, Derek, and then now his boy. And who knows, Chad's young enough to still have, he's younger than Derek, you know what I'm saying? He still might have some more kids. Who knows?
Hey, Christine. This one's for Russ. I mean, we sort of touched base on this a couple times. All right, Brandon. I mean, over the almost 13 years, I think it's actually 13 years next July.
July the 12th will be 13 years.
Yeah. So I mean, how much has things really changed within YouTube? I mean, is it dramatic? Is it just a few things? I mean, you just.
Well, I'll tell you what, and you know this, you've already been on YouTube how many years? 4 years? Going
4
on
years.
5?
Yeah.
In 5 years, man, I done hit 100,000 subscribers. People had a chance back then.
Right.
And nowadays, I feel like it's overpopulated, because people, I don't know. I don't want to say something that ain't true, but it is. Back in them days, there wasn't that many of us, that did barbecue. There was quite a few, but not like it is today. Everybody wants. They know it's an easy channel to start, and that just throws a lot of competition in it. But people aren't watching it like they used to either. So now it's kind of double bad. But YouTube has changed with the algorithms. It's all algorithm driven, and they can say what they want to. But I still think that they pump up channels they want to pump up, algorithm or
Yeah.
no algorithm. That's
I mean,
I can't prove that, but man, I have watched it. Greg with Ballistic Barbecue, me and him were talking the other day, and he said, "You know what?" He goes, "As long as me and you have been doing this, and the success we used to have, for it to fall off," he goes, "Man, we ought to be killing it." I said, "Yeah." You would think so, but it's just the opposite, man. It's just dwindled down. That's one reason I'm just like, maybe Derek can turn it around. Maybe he'll put a whole new spin to it. I started at 53 years old. Derek is 10 years younger than I was when I started this channel, and he can just do what he can with it, and maybe put a whole nother spin to it, and get it back up. I got it
yeah.
up to over 300,000 subs, which don't mean nothing. That's just bragging rights, because if 300,000 subs meant anything, then I should be getting at least half of that on views on every video I do. I can barely get 2,000 views nowadays on a video, and I'm not complaining, but YouTube has changed that much. That's what I mean when I say YouTube has changed. The way the algorithm affects, they don't recommend you like they used to. You just, I don't want to use the word shadow ban, because I don't think I've ever done anything to be shadow banned, you know, like a political channel. I never discuss politics. I don't discuss anything like that. We talk cooking, maybe a little humor in there, and that's it.
Yeah.
And but regardless, man, the biggest reason for me, I'm 66 years old. I'm looking at 70, staring at it in the face, and I would like to just be able to pull a smoker out and enjoy barbecue without having to pull cameras out and make a production out of it like I used to. You
Yeah.
know,
We've
I've
touched
given
base.
people plenty. I've given God knows how many really good recipes, and that's there. That ain't going nowhere unless YouTube falls and goes offline at some point. You
Yeah.
know, but as long as it's alive, then all my content will be alive, and then anything Derek will add to that.
Yeah.
As time goes.
So the ones that are coming in, and mostly the fish family, because a lot of the barbecue family already know Russ. But Russ has announced his retirement from YouTube barbecue cooking. He still has a channel called Skill Savvy DIY
Yeah,
that
new
he'll still
channel.
be messing around with that. But Derek is his oldest son of two that is going to be taking over Smoky Ribs, and um, you'll have to replay to hear some of his upcoming ideas. But I'm liking it. I mean, I really like his new ideas coming up.
Well, Derek, he was my cameraman for 8 years of the
Yeah,
13 years I've been doing this, and he knows how to do it. Now he hasn't edited videos in a long time, and I don't even know if he's got good editing software right now. But I'm sure he'll get it done. But I know back when he used to do those selling videos, he did an excellent job editing. So he'll figure that part out and start releasing videos. And I'm still tied to the channel as an owner. I'm not primary owner no longer, so I'm able to upload the 7 videos I still got yet to do. And the reason I'm doing them, for anyone that wants to know, is I received a very expensive smoker back in the fall from Pits and Spits, the hybrid, and that's like a $5,000 pit. And I just don't feel like I've done enough with it to justify them giving me a $5,000 pit. I want to do enough videos to where I feel good about it. And hey, if they want to come get the pit after that, if they don't think I've done enough for them, then they're welcome to come get it. But
Right.
I just
Right.
feel like I haven't done enough for them. That's the only reason. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even make no more videos. I'd be done.
So, do you think that there'll be any more, or a possibility, not anymore, but a possibility of a Russ Derrick reunion on one of the cooks? I guess that
Oh, I'm
question
sure. Yeah, at
for
some point.
Derrick more than anything, but I'm sure Derrick would have no problem having his dad come in there and they do a cook together.
No.
Actually, had an idea for that too, a catch and cook. That would be cool. Father and son go out and go fishing, catch, and then cook it. That would be a
Well,
badass.
we done some of
Yeah,
them in the years past. Me and Derek. Of course, he was too busy having to hold a camera, except for one trip. I ended up
Yeah,
holding the camera on that trip because once he got that pole in his hand, he couldn't let it go. That fishing was that good. But those were catch, clean, cook videos, and they didn't
yeah,
do great. They did over time, but they didn't like fly off the shelf or nothing right
yeah,
out of the gate. But they were fun, though. Man, they were fun. You know.
yeah. I
yes, they
just
were.
thought about that. Go ahead, Derek. I'm sorry.
I said, yes, they were fun, and I look forward to more of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of my favorite videos of y'all's, and I have not duplicated it yet. I keep telling them I'm going to do it. But when y'all were up on the pier and you were doing those full wrapped seafood package cooks,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that was one of my favorite videos to watch.
Yep.
That I just
That was
enjoyed
on
the
a
hell out of that.
sailboat. That was on a sailboat. Every now and then, I said, "Let's shoot something on a sailboat just for kicks and grands." And I kind of enjoyed them videos too. It was a little bit of a challenge, but it was fun.
yeah.
Yeah, Trey is saying, as a Smoky Ribs subscriber, I have physically searched for his videos, and even with the notification turned on, something definitely is going on with YouTube.
That's something I didn't even mention. I cannot
Yeah,
tell you the amount of comments I have gotten over the last several years. People says, "Golly, man, where you been? Man, I'm glad you're back." I said, "Man, I've been posting videos every week. What are you talking about?"
yeah,
YouTube is not recommending them. They're not sending
yeah,
notifications. That's the kind of crap that just makes you want. It just, man, it's like they say that's not true. YouTube will say, no, that's not so. We send notifications out. Y'all know better. Y'all been on in this
right.
game long enough to know that's not true, you know? And I mean, I'm gonna be honest. When I first started this, I was 6 months into it before I knew you could make money with it. I didn't start this to make money with. I didn't know what monetization meant. I kept reading. I'm like, what are they talking about? Then finally, Dawn hit me, and it's like, oh, you can make money with this.
Yeah.
Ad revenue. Okay, I get it. And then over the years, you want to build it up. You want it to turn into an income. It becomes a business, is what it becomes, but it's still fun. If it's not fun, you're not driven to do it.
Right.
You're just not. But yeah, I don't know. Way too
Well, you,
many things wrong with
yeah,
YouTube.
you said something earlier, and we've talked about that very recently, as a matter of fact, and it's so true. Um, I was hoping maybe MSC Aquatics would pop in. Mike, he's been a subscriber of yours too. He's a big time cooker, but maybe even feed off of him because I haven't seen any of his film cooks, but being able to actually enjoy a cook in the backyard and not have a camera in your face, is the audio set perfectly? Is the camera, is the angle right? is the battery going to die in between frames?
Yeah.
Is the audio actually working?
When you do it by
Then,
yourself, it's a real pain. I know because I started that way and I'm ending that way. Derek, for the 8 years that he helped me, I didn't have to worry about none of that. He was the cameraman. But if the battery's getting low, he says, "Hang on, I got to switch the battery,"
yeah,
Or he would say, "Hey, say that again. You said that wrong." He would catch me a lot of times with my own mistakes, and it worked well, you know. And he would have kept doing it, but the money just started falling. At one time, YouTube could support me and Derek, and I'm talking about after I retired. It was bringing in that kind of money, and then it got to where Derek's like, "God, if this don't pick up, I got to go. I got to go do something." I'm like, "Go do it." I said, "I don't know
yeah,
what's going on." And finally, it got so bad I couldn't even live on it, And I'm
yeah,
luckily I was old enough to file Social Security and stuff.
yeah,
It's like big disappointment is what it turns into. To be honest with you,
yeah.
but I had fun all them years. That's really what counts in the
So we
scheme
already
of
sort of
things.
touched base on this one. One of my questions was for Eric or Derek rather, what was his plans for the channel? Was he going to be doing cooks only? Was he going to be getting into more outdoor stuff or some outdoor stuff? But he talked about smoking hams and bread making and stuff like that, making that in addition to the channel, which I think is an awesome idea. But and we sort of maybe touched base on that a little bit about going a fish clean and catch type thing. But so I'll skip over that one unless y'all have something to add to that,
I
maybe.
would like to see him do more outdoor stuff almost. And if anybody could do it, he can do it because he's way more agile than I am, a lot younger than I am, and he loves outdoors. But I could almost see him kind of leaning towards like deer meat for dinner type content, hunting, wild
Yeah,
hogs, all that stuff.
yeah.
There's a lot of people into that.
Yeah, the funny videos are still pretty good here on YouTube.
Yeah.
So what's the thing there though? You can't show the blood or something like that. I think
Yeah,
that's
he had to, even deer meat for dinner had to get to where he just showed the dressed thing. And there for a while, what was he doing? He was showing it, and I hated that. See, that's YouTube censoring you. But at first, he'd show, I mean, taking a deer, gutting him, doing the whole 9 yards. That cat is good at it, and he would
right,
show everything. And I'm sitting there watching what he's doing because we used to do the same thing, being down here in the South, being deer hunters, but too many people offended by the blood and guts. I mean, hey, that's real
right,
life, you know.
right,
And
right,
boy, that Joker can use a knife like filleting fish and everything better than anybody I ever seen. You
right.
know, he's going through a lot of hardships right now.
Yeah, he had more medical.
Stroke. Yeah. They just sold that house. It wasn't 5 years ago they were building that house. And that nice boat, they done sold the boat, selling the house. I don't know what their next plan is or anything, but you could tell it was breaking their heart to leave that house. But I'm thinking their medical bills are through the roof because of these strokes he's had. He had two of them 2 years ago. Now he's had two more,
Right.
Wow.
and it's just probably breaking the bank.
In this hospital.
Yeah. So Derek, question for Derek. So are you going to try and get on a schedule for posting videos, or are you just going to post a video when you have time to?
Right now, I'm gonna start off with every other week. But my plan is, even though I'm gonna post every other week, I'm gonna still be shooting every week, so I can try to get some videos in the hole.
Right,
Because there's times that I'm really busy with work and all, but I don't want the channel to suffer from it. So I'm like, as many videos as I can get in the hole, the better off I'll be. That way, if something's going on that weekend or I get caught in the work, I still got a video there that I can release.
right. So
Yeah,
you may,
and I just wanted to say this for anybody that might be in the chat that's from my channel. Y'all subscribe to me. Y'all subscribe to watch me and my videos, but I hope y'all do hang around and give Derek a chance. And I'm gonna tell
I'm
you,
sure.
because I've been through it, it's going to be kind of new to him, even though he was my camera guy for 8 years. But being in front of that camera is a lot different than being behind it. And just give him a chance and let him kind of come around, and he'll do, you know what I'm saying? He'll grow into it. But
Yeah, well, it's like we touched earlier. It's a learning curve.
it is.
Um, you know, it's a lot to learn.
We
So
went to
for
that
us,
we went to that baby shower yesterday, and Derek did all the pulled pork. Man, it was fire.
right,
Everybody loved it. Terrain's like, oh my god, he did a good job on it, and he did it with that Lone Star Grill's El Patron, and that's something else I was wanting to say in case anybody's from Lone Star Grills. I haven't really done them justice because I got that pit back in the fall. Well, it's over at Derek's house. That way he can do plenty of videos on that pit, and I'm gonna finish doing videos with the hybrid, you know. And I doubt y'all ever see any other pits, the old Hickory and all that. I've done plenty of videos on them over 3 years ago. And I'll keep using it. I promise you that. That's one
yeah.
pit I'll love.
So this is just a question that just popped in my head, just because I was running out of things to ask. But so if anybody else, another father son, father daughter, mother son, whatever, wanted to hand a channel down to someone, I mean, did you find it difficult, or was it easy to make that transition on as far as YouTube is concerned?
Well, I kind of was ahead of the game because I was already YouTube. They have personal accounts and they have brand accounts. I was already a brand account, done that years ago. Derek was already listed as an owner. I listed him as an owner probably 3 or 4 years ago in case something happened to me. He might be able to go in there and take over, but really he wouldn't be able to take over until I assign him as primary owner. So, but that's what you got to do. And there's videos on how to do it, but you got to take that person and list them as an owner. You got to be a brand account, and once they're an owner, then you can just, it's a little drop down. You click on it and say change to primary owner. And I did that the other day, and bing, 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 bing. All of a sudden, all these security notices started coming, and emails. I got an email that says, "Congratulations, you're now the owner of Smoky Ribs." I was no longer the primary, and Derek got one. Congratulations, you're now the primary owner of Smoky Ribs, and that's only part of the thing. Now he had to create an AdSense, and that was the tricky part. I don't remember how we did it. We were probably sitting here 2 hours, but finally I went, "Oh, I got it. I see what's going on." And I thought I had to cancel mine. I said, I don't want to cancel mine because Skill Savvy is tied to it. And I'm making money with that channel,
Right,
you know? And
right,
so, but basically, you go back to, he had to log in into his name as the primary owner. And there's a place, I'd have to show you how to get there, but you go to your settings and it says AdSense change. So we hit change, went in there, and just followed the prompts. And next thing you know, it got changed to him. But he had to do a lot of things after the fact, like verification. He's waiting on a PIN code to come in right now to verify his actual physical address and things like that. And
mhm,
the channel's already over in there. I stopped earning money on it on the 25th, and whatever money accumulates, once he gets all the little loose ends tied up, then that'll be going to him. You see what I'm
right.
saying? But
And
there's a little
whatever
bit
you do,
involved to it. You got to do your homework for sure. It's not easy.
don't do what I did and click business, thinking
Yeah.
it was a business, because that screwed me for
Oh, I remember. I
months and
remember.
months and months and months and months.
Yeah,
Well, I started off.
I learned from you, so I did not do that when I set up my channel.
Yeah, that was a nightmare that I wish never happened. But
I was a nervous wreck. I'll be honest with you. When he come over here, I was a nervous wreck because I didn't want to screw it up. I'm like, God, I hope we did this right. Next thing you know, neither one of us be. That's what I was visualizing, and but we did it right. It took a little bit of common sense, I reckon, to figure out what they were asking. But
yeah. So,
yeah,
Derek, are you going to be pretty much just a one-man show? We were sort of kind of touched on that a little bit, because you'll be in front of the camera and you'll be doing it by yourself. So I guess that sort of answered the question already. So is that the plan to at least start off? I didn't know if your wife, has some can help you somehow or another, or maybe she works full time too. I don't know, but is that your plan, just to be yourself?
Yeah, be myself, and I'm sure she'll help from time to time, get out there and help me out a little bit. She works full time. We both work for the same place. She just works in the office.
Okay.
I work out in the shops and on the road with them.
Right.
But I also got my stepson. He's 17, so he'll be trying to help here and there as well.
Okay. So it's safe to assume you're going to keep your full time job for now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't. I kept my full time job through all them years until 2021, and thanks to what happened in 2020, without saying the word, we all know what happened in 2020.
Yeah.
I ended up having to go from foreman, sitting on my butt in front of a computer, back on my tools after sitting on my butt for 10 years, and it about killed me.
Right.
I said, I can't do it no more. I done got too old and too everything. I should have never took that foreman job. I probably could have cruised right on through it. But live and learn. But Derek, but before I stop talking, this Sony A66, the good
Yep.
camera that I got
Yep.
from Jeff, you can have that camera to go with yours. You kind of need a 2-camera setup where I really don't need it with what I'm doing.
Right.
If you want it, and
Right.
when you get it though, we got to adjust that audio back up on it. I got to turn way down. That's the only
All
thing
right.
you got to remember.
All right.
All right.
So we sort of touched bases on this a little bit. Derek's talking about how he was going to get into smoking hams, maybe making some, bread stuff and all that. And I sort of kind of asked the question again: is there anything, is he going? Is it just going to be barbecue only? Was he going to do any outside stuff? So that's a sort of duplicated question because I've already asked some of that. And I think he was the buck poppers. Was that your first planned cook?
Yeah, that's actually my first one, and I actually shot it earlier today.
Awesome.
I was wondering because you told me yesterday you were. I seen the meat yesterday. It was ground venison. How did it turn out?
Oh, they're great.
All right.
Now I know Derek because he grew up
Upsides.
eating the same stuff I eat, and I guarantee you there's going to be some seafood and crawfish involved at some point, just like I
Yeah,
did.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, Russ, any idea when your last cook will be?
December.
Oh, so you don't go that far? Okay.
Just one video a month for pits and spits. That's all. That's the only thing I'm doing till the end of the year. And then they don't even know it yet. I'm going to have to tell them that, if they want to come get the pit, if they don't think I've done enough work for them, they pay me to shoot videos for them, but they also invested a lot of money sending me that pit. You know what I'm saying? But they're
Right.
going to come get it, if they don't feel like I've done enough, but I'm just wanting out of it completely.
Yeah.
I'm at that point.
As long as you're, I'm sure you're going to do what you told me you were going to do. It just may take a little bit longer, but
Yeah.
you will do what you say you're going to do.
And as far as skill savvy goes, I'm not going to push a video a week. I'm not going to do it like I did this channel. I don't care if it grows. I'm not in it for money. It's just something to do. I'm out there doing it anyway. And this guy that I'm hooked up with sending me cars to do air conditioning work on, he texts me earlier. He's got something else to look at. It sounds like that's going to be an ongoing thing. And I'm doing mainly that because I sat on my butt for 3 years, getting fat and getting unhealthy. I'm trying to do that just to keep living, be honest with you. You know as well as I do, you can't sit down when you retire. You'll die, And you got to do something. So I'm like, I'm going to do the stuff I did all the years that I was making a living to feed my family and everything. Go back and teach other people how to do what I already know how to do,
Yeah,
If they want to watch. If they don't, that's fine too.
Lance retired and went back to work.
Yeah, but I enjoy that, man. It's like that kid next door. He helped me today. I said, I'm gonna buy you a case of beer. He was a lot of help. you know,
Right.
and he just could not wrap his head around pulling a vacuum. He goes, well, it's still pressure, ain't it? I said, well, look at it like negative pressure, like that. I said, we're sitting at 14.7 atmospheric pressure at sea level. That's what's exerted on us. Anything below 14.7 is actually a vacuum. It's, you know, you're going below that. It's a vacuum, and you cannot pull all the way down to absolute zero pressure. You can get real close, but you can't achieve a perfect vacuum. Perfect vacuum would be 30 inches of mercury, and you can't do it. You can do 29.9. It's impossible to pull all the way down to 30 inches of mercury, you know. But he's like, man, that's interesting. I said, go get a book, man. Watch YouTube videos. It is interesting. That's the reason I was
Yeah.
intrigued by it all the years, you know.
So apparently Demoose maybe missed it earlier. So yeah, Derek is his son, and Derek's actually retained the name, everything. He's just continuing with Smoky Ribs BBQ. He's going to be the younger new face of it.
Yeah. And you know, I don't know how people are going to react. Cause like I said, they subscribed to me all through the years, and I promise you, hardly any of my subscribers from way back even watch me anymore. You know how that is. It's like getting used to a TV show. The next thing you know, you move on. It's the same thing.
Right.
But you know, I remember certain comments because he's done videos in the past. If you remember, 3 or 4 years ago,
Right.
he made a few solo videos, and one guy pissed me off. There was a comment. He goes, "I ain't watching this guy like that." You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. You know,
That was cooking down home south or down home south cooking
yeah,
or
we did a little series. Anytime he did a video, it was on my channel, Smoky Ribs BBQ, but it was called, what was it called, Derek? Down South.
Down South series.
Yeah, Down
down
South
south.
series, and we had special logos. And if you've seen that, and I said, let's do that. That way, when people see that, they know it's going to be you and not me.
Right.
And then, of course, he appeared in a lot of my videos at the end
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that, you know.
Especially towards the end. Well, I thought there was a little bit of buzz about, maybe a changing of the guard or something. I don't know, but that was actually my next question for Derek and Russ too, for that matter. I mean, was there ever any thought or inkling or desire that maybe the changing of the hands would happen between Derek and your dad?
I'll be honest with you, you know, I was talking about quitting here at the beginning of the year, and I was just going to just quit doing videos and not say a word about it, just kind of fade away and leave all my content on there as is. And Derek's like, man, he goes, let me do the video. I said, do you want to do it? I said, now you got to keep up with his money. I said, I don't want to see you get in trouble with taxes because it's like any other business. You got to keep up with all that, you know? And he's like, I know, I got Candace. She's a bookkeeper. I said, all right, you know. So that's why we're doing it. It was his idea, not mine.
Right.
I was just gonna leave it as is and demonetize. Matter of fact, I did. I went in there and demonetized every video I had to quit making money with YouTube because I want Social Security. I don't want to have to file every year. I'm wanting to get out of that to where all I got to do is collect Social Security, and it's low enough to where I know I don't have to file. You know, I'm sick of that crap. Too many years of it. You know,
Right.
so and hopefully if that bill passes, we won't have to worry about doing that no more. No way. But not to get on that subject, but you know what I'm saying.
You have anything to add to that, Derek?
Yeah, I mean, all these years, I already knew in my mind, because I was there for 8 of them years, and I didn't want to step away when I stepped away. But at the end of the day, you got a family, you got mortgage, you got other bills, they got to get paid. So therefore, I had to go back to punch a time clock.
Yep.
But I always knew that if something ever happened one day, that I was gonna take back, get back involved with it. If he passed away, God forbid, I hope that don't happen anytime soon. But I would take over at that point because I don't want to see the channel end. He's put a lot of years into it, and I've been there for a
Yeah.
lot of years and helped in behind the scenes with that, and it means a lot to me if that makes any sense.
No, 100%. I think it's awesome. I mean, uh, not that my channel is anywhere near the size as Russ's, but big or small, having a son that would step in and continue to carry the torch, I think it would be completely and totally awesome. And
Right. Yeah.
I
Well, here,
admire you wanting to do that.
I think it's a good time to do it because my views are at an all-time low, which means not a, people aren't watching my channel like they used to. Okay, so maybe he can go in there a new face and kind of trend it back upwards again. People getting to know him, and eventually I'll just fade out of the picture. They might see them old videos on there if they go digging back, but I don't know about you, but when I subscribe to somebody, I don't necessarily go back and watch their old content. I kind of start watching from that day forward.
Hmm.
I've never kind of backtracked. Sometimes I do a little bit just to kind of see where they came from. But for the most part, I
Yeah,
watch their current stuff.
same here. Something caught my eye. It intrigued me. I want to start watching. I mean, some of even these. I'll bring in the fish community real quick here, but some of these people, some of them have stopped making videos, and I'm just starting to learn a little bit about them. I was like, sort of kind of wondering why, but they have their own reason. But you know, but I learn if I have something particular that I want to learn, like Cheryl's in here, Jody P's in here, Branton's in here. There's a number of people in here, Jeff Kane. These are the people. These are my smoky ribs of the barbecue people because um, if I have a question or I want to answer, I'm either going to go check out Russ's video, to see if he has anything in there, or I'll take the shortcut and send him a text, to get an answer to something. But um, the same with the fish people. I mean, these are the people that I normally stick to, and I'll go back through their channels to because that's who I want to follow. I get a straight up answer for these people, so I get that totally. But I'm like you. I don't start watching all their channels verbatim.
Or all their old content. Yeah,
Right,
it's
right,
like from this point forward. That's what most people do. Anyway, I think
right.
that's what I do.
Yeah. So this one is for Derek too. I mean, I mean, some of these questions are repetitive, but I mean, these are sponsored. This is a sponsored question. I mean, are you going to be locked in or try maybe get like? I mean, first thing comes off. I'm going to try like an Uncle Steve for some reason. Just popped in my head. I don't think Russ was really a sponsored Uncle Steve channel, but do you have any plans like that, Derek? I mean, is there like a product that you just really love and you're going to incorporate them in your videos now?
Well, I love Lone Star Grills, have since the beginning. I was there with Dad when we both went out to Texas for the first Lone Star, met Chris out there, and I really like the way they work out there. I like their pits. They're solid, and I'm still using the first one here at the house.
Yeah, Derek's got my original all set right there.
It
He's
is
got it on
now
a trailer
on a
now.
trailer
So.
pit that I converted over to a trailer pit. Uh, but I mean, I will try the things. If a sponsor contacts me, if it fits into what we do and what has always been done on that channel, then I'll say yes. If it's something I don't feel like it fits that channel, no, I'm not going to do it just for money. It's got to fit to what we do.
So to pick up, so I guess what I'm reading out of that is that you really don't want to be a review channel for all your products. Like, barbecue utensil starts coming your way. I mean, whatever. I mean, obviously a LSG grill comes your way, you're going to jump all over. But
Oh
you
yeah.
know, you're not going to be the bug zapper reviewer or the charcoal reviewer. That kind of stuff.
No, that won't be me unless if it's a product that I know. Uh, I mean, like there's a whole bunch of I'm not going to say let's just say overseas to keep it nice, I guess. Overseas manufacturing stuff
Thank
that
you, man.
you can go get in any box store. I'm just not going to do it for the money because I'm not in it really for the money. Uh, I'm going to use something that I truly believe in. And I'm not saying Lone Star Grills is the only great pit out there because there are quite a few great pits out there, of course. Uh, but I'm not going to sit there and just hammer out a bunch of sponsors over money. That ain't
That's
going to.
good. Start like that and end like that because I have taken those deals mainly for paychecks and stuff like that through pits that I would never buy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm admitting it. It's true. People fall in that trap, you know. Monument. I ain't gonna say no names. Never mind.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say.
you know, it's kind of hard to turn down sometimes because you can make money doing the video, then you can turn around and sell it. You're doubling your money.
Right.
That's coming from a business standpoint, you know. But there's also such a thing as being true, you know, to yourself and being true to what you really like.
Right.
And so if that's what Derek wants to do, I'm all for it. All for it, you know.
So, question for Derek. Derek, comparing yourself cooking styles to your dad and yourself, I mean, is there anything that's really sort of kind of stick out, like where you're different, or do you all pretty much agree on cooking styles on everything, and you pretty much cook the same way, or is there differences between you?
I think a lot of it's probably going to be a lot what he does because I learned it from him.
That's what I was
Everything
thinking.
I know on cooking, I learned from him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he was there firsthand seeing it, which I guess there's more than one way to barbecue, but there really ain't many ways to, you know what I'm saying? You do it and do it right. And what else is there to know, you know?
Yeah.
People, it's so easy. Y'all know that now looking back, like, man, this is nothing, you know? Really, you know, once you kind of understand the basics of it and everything, anybody can do it.
Um,
A lot of people depend on these videos that's never done it. One of my top videos, and it has been for quite a few years now, is how to use a Weber grill. You know, like making the snake method and doing a low and slow. I did a chuck roast on that video, and it was not over direct coal. Most, if you don't know, if you're just somebody say, all right, I'm gonna buy a grill, you fill it up with charcoal, you put the meat on there, it's burnt on the outside, it's raw on the inside. It sucks because you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
But so you go to YouTube for somebody to teach you how to do that. Are we guilty, Lance? We all start off like that, but you know
yeah.
it takes somebody showing you. So that's why people go to YouTube. And when you get videos like that, they're like, "Oh, thank you, golly, man, that you made that look so easy." Then they get it. All of a sudden, it click. There ain't nothing to it. It's just you got to know, you know.
Yeah.
And once you know, you know. It applies to any cooker. It ain't got to be a Weber. It can be any cooker. It's called direct cooking and indirect cooking, depending on what
Yeah.
you're doing. Steaks is direct. Well, no, actually, steaks can be indirect and then direct. Or if it's
Yeah.
thin enough, you can just be direct. You know, low and slow is always indirect. It's
Yeah.
just a few things to know.
If you were a low budget, but you wanted to cook for yourself, family, and friends, if you bought a Weber and learned the Weber, there's so much you could do with it. Um,
Oh yeah,
you know, like the vortex stuff they have to it, the Santa Maria attachments to it, the offset cooking, smoking. There's just so much that you can do
there
with the
is.
Weber.
And you know, it kind of becomes a hobby for a lot of people. They really get so enthused about it once they start doing it and having fun with it. It becomes a hobby, and that's why all these attachments, excuse me, become kind of piques their interest, like the little Santa Maria for a Weber and different attachments. You know, I had a pizza insert where I made pizzas on a Weber. Thing worked great. You know, they're way back on my channel years ago. You know, then
Right.
eventually had a real pizza oven. I mean, just all kind of things. You know, just I had a love for all that stuff, and when people offered it to me, like that pizza oven, I would have never been able to afford that pizza oven that I had. You know, it's
Right.
gone now. I sold it.
Right.
But anyway, you know, that's just the love of it, really. It leads in all kind of equipment and different things.
What about you, Derek? Do you have a favorite cooker? And that's probably not fair because the Weber's not Russ's favorite cooker. That Pits and Spits, I believe. No, what's the other one? The gas assist.
My favorite smoker to date, and I ain't putting no other smokers down. I'm saying this because it lays the best smoke I've ever had out of any cooker, and Derek knows what I'm getting ready to say. It's got the convenience of a pellet cooker, but it's not a pellet cooker, and that's that old Hickory.
Old Hickory. That's it.
Old Hickory, and you can run it with charcoal and chunks. I never have. I've always run it with gas. The gas is what ignites the log. You got a split in there, and
Mhm.
you can run 6 hours of smoke on one split.
Yeah,
And
that's
when the heat
crazy.
dies down on that, the gas picks it up. I mean, that gas don't run 4 seconds, cuts off.
Right.
And the
That's
whole temp, it's just holding temp, it's smoking. All of a sudden, gas come on, goes back out. That's Derek. He knows.
Now that old Hickory is probably one of my favorite cookers there is. I've done a lot of cooks on it because it used to stay here when he was
Yeah.
shooting the videos over here. So
Yep.
during the week when there wasn't videos going on, I cooked on it just about every night.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
that was one of my favorite. Now this new El Patron is quickly becoming one of my favorites because of the versatility of so many things that you can do with it.
Yep.
Right.
It's a smoker. It's a griddle. You know, you can raise and lower the coal bed. You can have a fire in the very bottom for low and slow. You got a rotisserie. I mean, a heavy rotisserie. You could probably put two turkeys on that rotisserie and never even budge it. I did one turkey on it back in November, I think. And then it's also a pizza oven. You know,
Yeah.
you
Those
do
things are
all that
cool.
with it.
They're definitely cool.
Now, Derek's
So is that
playing around with the idea, and I think it would work. I hope Chris ain't listening by any chance, but have you ever seen a smoker that's a box like that, kind of, but they got two pipes coming out of the back of it with another pipe, which is a firebox
like an
to make it a
exchanger
true
or something?
offset to where the
Yeah.
fire is actually there and it's piping smoke in through here? He's played around with the idea after doing X amount of videos and actually doing that to that smoker. I think it would work. Put like a 12-inch firebox on the back of it, pipe capped on each end. Have it where I don't know how we do that. We'd have to figure it out. But you got two pipes that come into the main box itself to provide smoke and heat. It'd be an offset.
Yeah. So is that your favorite cooker too, Derek?
It is.
Okay. And then what? My last question for Derek and or Russ. I see Chris has got a question here. There's some questions I just sort of kind of skipped over because I had an agenda at first and I wanted to try and stay on track. So um, if some of the questions that weren't barbecue related or the transition related and I skipped over them, that's why. Uh,
What's up, Scotty?
what, do you have a favorite thing that you like to cook, Derek?
My favorite thing to cook. I'm a beef man. I love everything beef, and I cook a lot of beef.
I'm with you on
Uh,
that.
my favorite is porterhouse and brisket. That's my two favorites, and I make them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he does his fair share of pork too. I don't know if he does ribs that much. You know, I've done a ton of ribs. I mean, I named a channel after it for God's sake. But
I do a lot of ribs. Matter of fact, I just cooked up 4 racks of ribs about 2.5 weeks ago.
okay.
Yeah.
You
I
ought to get
love.
you some of those plate ribs, beef.
Yeah.
Try
Oh yeah,
them.
yep,
You've ate them here, I know. It's like brisket on a stick.
yep.
Well, that's all I have. I don't know if Simon has any questions for you or not, but that's about all I could come up with in the past. Uh, what I could, without duplicating it, then my mind just starts scrambling, and um, I'm.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, with me over the years, I didn't know what I was doing on the next video until all of a sudden and that was what was crazy. People I know personally, they were watching my channel like, my God, how do you keep thinking of something week after week? I would have done run out of ideas. I never ever had a problem coming up with a video
Yeah.
until I started losing interest. And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, you know. And I mean, I could remake an old video or something like that, but I've always tried to do something different from video to video, you know. And I always have. I always come up with something. And when I ran dry, I said, "Okay, I'm done." You know, I'm pretty much
Chris says,
done. I'm done.
I think we know the answer to this one. If you're from Mississippi or whatever, I think you know the answer to this question if you're born and raised there. So, Derek, do you know where Jimmy Buffett was born?
Born in Pascagoula. I know the hospital that he was born at. It's no longer a hospital there anymore. A lot of people think he's from over here where I'm living at now in Mobile, and he isn't from here. He's from Pascagoula, but he just spent a lot of time over here in Mobile.
Well, he moved to Mobile eventually, and then eventually moved to Fairhope. But yeah, he was born and raised in like Chris don't know that already. He just want to
Yeah.
hear the word.
He likes hearing that word Pascagoula. That's just him. He likes hearing the word Pascagoula.
Yeah.
He wants to know what your favorite rifle is or handgun or whatever. Pew pew. He's just vague.
Chris.
Handgun, Glock 45. As far as rifle, I'm partial to a Winchester 30-30 lever action because I'm down here in the South. We have a lot of thick woods, so it's a good brush gun for down here where I hunt.
Right.
So is.
Yeah, I've
Hey
got one
Chris,
on
did you
myself.
ever watch my Jimmy Buffett tribute video? Just curious, because I talk all about Pascagoula in that video. If you need to get that Pascagoula fix every now and then, just watch that video.
Yeah. Complete with pictures. You even had your Jimmy Buffett shirt on, didn't you? And
I did. I had like a Hawaiian shirt with a choker,
was there
puka shells.
was there a pink flamingo in the thumbnail or something like that?
Don't remember. I was wearing them stupid sunglasses at the beginning of it. Then I took them things off. Yeah, I enjoyed
What's
that
up?
video though. Well, that brought back a lot of memories for me.
What's up, Rack? I used your hot sauce today in a video, so that's be coming out soon. And I still have not ironed out my thing about your collaboration for that bonsai plant, but I'll get it.
Yeah, I don't know what
So,
kind of issue you're having. I was talking about Darren with his camera. He's got something going on with it, but it don't matter for people to hear him.
That don't matter. He's got to get it figured out before he goes live. That's why he's got cameras to do that. But
Yeah.
So that's a good question. Derek, do you have plans on doing any lives or not?
Yeah, I'm gonna do some lives. Matter of fact, I've been out there trying to work here and there when I got time over the last few days, trying to organize one part of my corner of my shop just for lives where it's set up. And I guess now I'm gonna go buy a camera to plug into this because I don't know what's going on with this one on this laptop. And this laptop is not old; it ain't about 8 months old, but I can't figure it out.
Right.
I might go into work tomorrow and take it with me and let my IT man up there at work figure it out. He's probably smarter than I am with it.
Yeah, well, anybody's smarter than I am when it comes to computers. So,
Yeah.
do you still have the that kitchen area, cook area built out back that you did when your dad and you were filming videos there?
Nope.
No, I tore that deck down.
Is that right?
I've got to get it rebuilt, and it probably won't be till this fall. It's just done got so hot now. I'm not standing out there and building that because I got no protection from the sun there. But I'm setting up a whole new area out there at my shop where the outside just kind of looks like a rustic Western type theme out there.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's
Yeah,
where I'm going to do all my shit now.
those walls we had, that was all makeshift stuff. Threw it up
Right.
just to have a good background, put all them car tags there. And
Right.
for anybody that sent me a car tag, if y'all listen, I've still got them. Some of them are hanging up in my garage. And once I get room in the very back, I'm going to black all that in with that board. I'm going to hang all them tags up in there, but it's going to be on my newer channel, my DIY channel, not Smoky Ribs. A lot of people sent me tags with their own expense and everything, and once we made the transition for me coming back over here to shoot videos, then that was kind of out the window.
Yeah.
Didn't have a place to hang them no longer.
So, does the chat have any questions for Russ or Derek themselves?
Derek sounds more southern to me, don't he?
Yes, it does.
Cheeseburger in Paradise tribute. Yep, there it is. It's a decent watch. A lot of people commented they enjoyed it. This little history of Jimmy Buffett and myself. I might have talked about myself too much in that video, though, at the beginning. I eventually got on to Jimmy Buffett's, about him. I go back. I'll shoot videos. I'll edit them. I release them. I'm like, God, I should have done this. I shouldn't have done that. You always second guess yourself after the fact, Has anyone done a cheeseburger in Paris? I did. I got a video, but I just followed the lyrics. Big hunk of meat. Lettuce, tomato. Slice of onion. What does it say? I forgot the lyrics. I said it in the video. Heinz 57. French fried potatoes. Big kosher dill pickle on a draft beer.
I'm going to the chat to see if there's anything that I may have missed.
Where'd Simon go? He just disappeared.
Simon, I think I was seeing some. What's up, Josh? Where he was helping maybe with getting another live running.
You been eating?
Yeah, I've been eating.
Eating. Okay.
I haven't eaten nothing all day but olives that she put in these drinks. I got up this morning, started working on that car. I seen what time it was. I went in there, took a shower, and I haven't eaten anything. I will later.
Hey, Josh.
There's one for Derek. What is the most fun you've ever had with your dad?
Fishing trips. We've done a lot of them, and
yeah,
I love fishing with him. We both think alike, and the areas we fish, we both learned them very well, and we just are in tune with it. But that's some of my fondest memories is fishing with him.
I'll never forget. We were fishing one day in Graveline Bayou, and Derek kept pulling in speckled trout after speckled trout, and I had stopped and got some live shrimp to fish with. That's what my dad always used with a popping cork, live shrimp. And all this trash fish kept stealing my shrimp, and I wasn't catching no good speckled trout, and I didn't even pay no attention to what he was doing. I mean, he was just pulling in one after another. I'm like, good God, dude, what are you using? He goes, I'm using this artificial bait, DOA, root beer color. I said, give me one of them. I tied that thing on, and I started catching them like that. Right. That one lure, swear to God, it was all chewed to hell and back, but I fished with that one plastic for 3 months before I changed it. Man, I was sold after that. He taught me something on that.
I remember we used to ride our bikes down the road. We would go to a different town, we'd take back roads. Parents didn't know, but we had bicycles. All we knew is we had to be back by a certain time. We would cross the highway, interstate highway and everything, but there was an old sand and gravel pit. And I don't know if they've stocked some of the old holes that they dug out, how they sort of spring starts filling them back up. I don't know how fish got in there, but bass were in these holes. And I'm like what you just said. I stopped off 7-Eleven one day, and there was this little teeny red worm with yellow beads and a teeny little spinner on the front of it. No one else could catch anything, but I was landing them left and right with that stupid little red rubber worm and the spinner on the front of it.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. The color of that, it looked what that DOA was a shrimp. It looked like a real shrimp, kind of like translucent, but it had a little root beer color sparkles in it. And when you put it in that stained water that we have down here in the bayous, it really looked real, you know. And that bait, it will kill speckled trout when they're in there, you know, right time of the year. Derek knows.
Oh yeah.
So I did have one more. I don't think I did ask that question, but if I do, I'll wait to get this one here from Gabriel first of GNC Aquatics. Do either of y'all have a good chili bean recipe?
Good what?
Do either of you have videos for a good uh, videos to go over a good chili bean recipe? I guess.
Do any of your videos go over good chili beans? I've got some I got some chili recipes. One I did in a cast iron Dutch oven. Man, that was some good chili. I actually dehydrated a bunch of my peppers and stuff, and ground them up into powders, and that was the chili powders that went into that. And it wasn't too hot. I did have some ghost pepper in there too, but I used like a quarter of a teaspoon, and it had some spice to it, but it was really good. And then I had another one. Derek supplied the meat. What was it? Antelope, Derek?
That was antelope.
Antelope. And we did that here in the driveway up underneath that canopy that day. That was probably the last chili video I did, and that was really good. But I got a couple of them. Plus, somewhere on there, I got my hot dog chili more than once. I think I got 2 or 3 videos showing how I do my. I used to sell them chili dogs, and that's the chili hot dog chili recipe that I used to sell.
Yeah, I
Rusty
think
dog.
that was Chris. I think had that question way back in the beginning of Derek had planned on having his own chili dog kind or video or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's one here. It says Derek. We already got that one. This was already answered too about the cheeseburger paradise cook. That was already answered.
Not
Yeah.
sure if
Yeah.
it was asked, but
I did my version based on his lyrics. You know, it's a fictional burger anyway. But
is Derek gonna have like a hunting or fishing on the channel?
Oh yeah.
that one's for Derek. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's what I told Derek. I said, do what you want. If you don't want it to be all cooking, don't do all cooking. You want to go out there and work on a Ford pickup truck. I don't care. You know, I mean, I'm turning it up to you. It's whatever you want. You ain't got to please me.
Put water in a fish tank. Whatever you want to do. That's what I said.
I'll tell you what, I've had some videos like I did one on my kayak that time that I outfitted, and that video got close to 300,000 views, man. That taught me right then, don't be scared to throw something else in a cooking channel from time to time because it'll surprise you.
Catch yourself a catfish and keep it in a tank.
Yeah. YouTube don't really work. I mean, it does for some people that really follow you. They're expecting cooking videos, but for all the people that find you through a search, like somebody searching kayaks, they're going to find my video. They might not even know I make cooking videos, but they found that one, and that's all that counts at that moment, you know?
Russ, can you put 805 in the comments, please?
Me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
805.
Or sleeper.
Or sleeper, either way.
Do I have to do the hashtag?
No.
Nope. Gabriel, it should be coming up as soon as you see. Oh, MD already did it.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got it right there.
Yeah.
There's a Nightbot link to it.
Let's see. Catching specks on that kayak. Yes, sir. We sure did. I got a video on it. Derek was in another kayak. We called that the camera kayak, and he's filming me. I'm in this little 10-foot kayak, and I had to put outriggers on it because of how big and fat I am. You know? And I had these outriggers on there, and that worked good. But the little seat lifts up like a regular boat seat. I loved that thing. I kept them all the way up to the time we bought the sailboat. Now I just lost interest and sold. Derek sold his, and I sold mine. We were out of the kayak business.
Yeah.
I got 3 more kayaks over here now. I need to use them one of these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get some on video, man. I have a friend of mine that has a fishing channel. He gets on his kayak and has a GoPro mounted to his head.
Yeah.
Fishing from the kayak.
I was
Yeah.
just getting ready to say Derek needs to invest in some more GoPros. We had GoPros when we were making those fishing videos, and I had one mounted right in front of me. That kayak I had, what do they call them things, Derek, that you can mount different things to? I had my little not my GPS, but my depth finder on one of
You
them,
talking about them little Scotty mounts?
Scotty mounts.
Got
And
it
I
on.
had one that held my GoPro pointing out where I'm fishing. And then Derek had our big cameras looking at me this way. That was some old camera. Those are actual camcorders that we used to use. Only problem with them, they didn't do 4K, and I eventually moved into the 4K cameras. But yeah, I tell you what though, that's hard doing fishing videos because how many times did we go before we really got them biting? You know, to where you could make a video about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, it takes a lot.
And finally, we got into them. They were in there, and we were catching them. Like, finally. But the way I would end the videos, or half the video, was me going back, and we would clean the fish, and then do a recipe with them. You know, I turned
Yeah.
it into a cooking video.
Yeah, I love the what's up, Angie? I love that kind of outdoor stuff when you can add it. I was doing it for a while, but I just start picking up some side work, and I got to make money so I can buy tropical fish and fish tanks.
Mhm.
I keep dipping into our household fund. My wife's going to get pretty pissed off eventually.
Well, do like me and Tarina does. She works. She's got her money, and I got my money. I pay all the bills. She buys all the groceries. But what she does with what's left over, she does. And whatever I do with mine, she don't question, you know?
Yeah. We've never started that. We've been actually 25th of this month. Yeah, we're still in May, right? Yeah. No, we're actually June 1st.
June 1st, yeah.
25th of May was our 42nd anniversary. So and we
Really?
worked together
Wow.
5 years before that. But right from the very beginning, it was just, in my opinion, it was my position to bring money, being a husband, being a father, to bring money into the house. And I just gave her
Yeah.
the checks or whatever it was, and she deposited them in her account, which is our account. But so, hindsight, you wish you had a little bit of extra money for yourself.
Yeah.
But when everything's in that account, you don't see it. I don't miss it. So I just do side work. That's the agreement that we have. So if I do a side job, something like that, then that just goes to me.
Right.
That's what I do to make money on the side to enjoy my hobbies.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I got burnt way back years ago when I was married to Derek's mother. And I remember her telling me this like yesterday. She goes, I want to do all the bills and everything. That's the woman's job. You work. She was wanting to get a setup to where she took care of everything. Well, that worked fine for a little while until the power got cut off. And I actually had a car repossessed one day. Somebody's knocking at the door and she's looking at the peephole. She goes, I think it's Jehovah's Witness. I said, don't answer it like that. And it was the repo man. Got out to go to work next day. My car was gone. She hadn't paid my car bill for 3 months. And I didn't know any of this. Power got cut off. Man, I'm freaking out. I took all that stuff away from her, took her name off the checkbook. And I said, never again. And so ever since then, Derek don't even know about all this. He was just a baby.
I
But
actually
I'm like,
remember the power getting cut off.
oh, she screwed me so bad. Oh my God. It was terrible. And I'm like, what did you do with all this money? I said, I have made the money to pay all this with. Never could give me. I thought she become a drug addict or something, but she didn't show no signs of being a drug addict. I don't know what she was doing with it, but she did not know how to handle money. So I took it all back away from her, like the butthole I was, I guess, in her eyes, and never looked back. And I got married beyond then, and never ever let a woman tie up my money again.
Yeah.
I got to know that things are being paid. That taught me a valuable lesson.
Yeah. No, my wife and I sort of come from the same school. comes to that, I mean, your bills get paid first.
Sure.
That's just the way it is. So
Yeah.
I never had that problem. If anything, I was wondering sometimes because she had her own credit card, and she had her own credit card before we got married. So I suspect sometimes my paychecks were paying her monthly bill on her credit card. I don't want to say I suspect because I know for a fact it happened several times. But that's again, to me, that's the response. That's one of the responsibilities of being a husband and a father.
Yeah.
But that's me. Everybody's different.
Yeah. I keep up with every bill. Now, Tarina does pay the internet bill, which is also tied to her satellite TV through AT&T. She pays it every month. That's the only bill she pays, and I pay all the rest. And then she goes, buys all kind of groceries, and we'll go out to eat. She's the one paying for that normally, because it's her idea. And but it works great like that.
Right.
I
Right.
never have to ask her for money. She don't never ask me, and
That's
it just
good.
works out really good.
Derek, do you have anything you want to add about the new channel or the transition or the past? Anything?
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for the first video to come out. Y'all gonna have to give me about 3 weeks, and I'll be releasing the first one out at that point because I'm still trying to get all my ducks in a row.
You got
Right.
any editing? You got any editing software yet?
I do. I use Adobe, the same thing I used in the past.
Okay, all right. You're gonna have to brush up on it. I wish you had what I got, man. It's Final Cut Pro.
Well, I
Love it.
don't use Macintosh, so
Yeah,
I see.
Macintosh. I ain't heard it called that in a long time. Oh, that's old school right there.
Macintosh is those little square ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
iMacs. I think that's what y'all call them nowadays. But
iMac.
no, I'm strictly Windows based.
Yeah,
It's
same
Apple.
here.
I have a Mac Pro that I'm looking at right now. This is an iMac behind it. The Mac Pro is like a laptop. It's way more powerful than my big whatever iMac because
see,
this computer is 12 years old and this computer is 2 years old maybe.
I see Elon Musk has come out with his own. Says it's going to give Apple a run for its money.
Yeah, he's got a new phone coming out, the Tesla cell phone.
Oh yeah.
I kind of twerked my ears on that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I would try it. I've used Apple iPhones since 2004, and that's all I've owned.
iPhone 3 was my first iPhone, so whatever that was.
That's a long time ago because my first one was iPhone 4, and this is like 12 Pro.
Yeah.
And I'll keep using it until just the battery won't
I
charge
think you
anymore.
have the 15, I believe.
Yeah, 15.
Because I have a 13, and you had just gotten the 15, I think it was.
Yeah,
There-
some people update every year. I'm like, I ain't doing that, man.
Yeah.
Them things cost too much. I won't update this till the battery gets to where I just can't charge it no more.
Yeah.
And so far, knock on wood,
I'm
It's
about
still
to
charging.
skip over from T-Mobile to AT&T, and they'll give me the newest iPhone.
right? Well, what
So-
I figured out was like from one year to the next, there's some changes, but a lot of times they just keep improving on the camera abilities.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that's good enough. I use this camera a lot when I'm shooting videos, and you can't tell the difference than
Right.
that from my Sony's.
So Derek Guggen is picking on your accent. He wants to know if there's going to be any subtitles so he can translate the crawdad Louisiana accent.
Well, I might have to do subtitles because I would like to try to get some of these videos eventually on Amazon, and they require the subtitles. So,
Yeah, but that's all automatically done through the YouTube app, so
oh, really?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's another good question. So, are you going to be in front of the camera or behind the camera, video guy?
If Derek was out in his shed, I guarantee you he's got a floor jack in there.
It's about 5 of them in there.
Yeah,
I'm a mechanic. That's what I do every day for work. So
Yeah.
that's an ongoing joke between Chris and your dad because your dad's got so much stuff in that room there.
In arm's reach.
Yeah, Chris bet him $100 he didn't have a floor jack in his room.
Yeah. I'm waiting
So
for him
that
to say something I actually got in here. Girl, I got a ton of stuff. All the good equipment I got, I don't want out in the humidity. I leave in here.
See, he's not gonna
Like
ask you.
working on cars and
He's gonna
stuff.
ask you about. Not gonna ask you about any of their cooking stuff because I'm pretty sure you had it right there.
Yeah,
yeah,
probably so.
don't
If
don't
he
answer
thinks
any
I got it,
questions.
he ain't gonna ask me. You know, nah, he's probably
Yeah,
got that.
don't answer any questions from Eastwind Farms right now, Derek, because you could make some money in the future.
Yeah.
So back to my question. So when you video a cook, are you going to be in front of the camera or behind the camera?
I'll be in front of it for the most part. Now, of course, I mean there'll be times that I guess I'm behind it because I'm showing certain things up close. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know
both.
if you could be like. I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off. I don't know if you could be like a talk over video or
Actually, he talked about this the other day. He's probably not going. You're talking about him showing himself a lot.
Yes, sir.
He's probably not going to do that like I did as much. He talked about it the other day. He said you're going to be seeing me actually doing the stuff in hands and actually getting to the heart of the video instead of sitting there trying to look pretty in front of a camera. you
Well,
know,
I'm not going to sit there and talk and carry on. I am more about trying to shrink down the time because I think people's attention spans for online videos has shrunk
yep,
with being at work, busy, going through their phones. So I'm like, the smaller we can shrink it down, I think it's better.
it is.
Right. So,
Nowadays, it is. People
but
attention span went out the window. And all
that,
that I've gotten called out on that so many times. Like, won't you quit showing yourself so much and show what the hell you're doing? You know, it's
But
like,
if
yeah.
something
damn.
needs to be really explained, then yes.
But make sure they're at least 8 minutes though, so you can make some money on them.
I
Yeah.
kind of gotten where I do that. I'll usually do an intro in front of the camera. Then everything else you see through the entire video is just the food and everything. Then I'll close it out with a taste test. That's how I've been doing videos for a long time now.
Well, that was sort of kind of my way. We've had that conversation you touched base on earlier. You can't wait to be able to fire up the Weber, whatever you want to cook on, and not have to be pristine. Put gloves on, upset somebody, have a camera in your face, a microphone hanging off of you. Enjoy cooking in the backyard again,
Right.
and I think it's when you do take a break and you do that, it's unbelievable. But damn, I forgot where I was totally going with that. So I, like you just said, I sort of kind of been doing that a little bit myself, where I'll show more of what's going on. You'll hear me cooking or see my hands, but again, it's another way to sort of kind of enjoy the filming of the cook
Yeah.
because you don't have the camera in your face, or is the angle right or whatever, but
Right.
it takes that away from me. So I agree, man. If you can do that kind of stuff, um, it just helps out so much.
I'm gonna tell you, I learned a lot. I watch a lot of content on YouTube. A lot of it related to what I'm kind of doing with Skill Savvy now. That's primarily what I'm watching. And if there's even this car, I had to go to YouTube to look for a few things because I've never worked on this car before. I had to take the whole.
Whoa.
Lost your mic.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yep, got it.
Yeah, my arm hit that mute button.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm sitting there watching the video. I'm like, God bless it. Get to the point.
Yeah.
Hurry up. And I'm zipping to,
Yeah.
okay, now we're at the meat of it. Because that's all I'm wanting is the meat of what I'm looking for. And he's like, anyway, we're told, I'm like, now I
Right.
know why people get so aggravated.
Right.
They don't want to hear all this crap. Just get to it.
Yep. Yep. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, but I can't say anything. I've been given grief for years about how long the videos were, and people don't want to hear your lifetime story and all that. But
Yeah.
that's just me, I
Me
just,
too. I'm guilty. Like, "Ooh, boy, we got some bad weather in South Mississippi today, And people's like, I don't care, you know.
I remember in 1969 it rained so daggone hard I couldn't see out my window.
Exactly.
Most of my videos are about 8 minutes or less.
Derek did a
Yeah.
video. I was trying to tell him that this is back when he was doing some videos for that little thing we had, and he was talking about football season, different team. I said, Derek, nobody wants to hear about all that. you know, get to the point.
Yeah.
I think I drilled it home to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Chris wants to know if Russ had said a couple times there's some tools missing. You wouldn't by any know where they are or any idea.
I know where they are. They got sunk on a sailboat.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all right. I've replenished everything. Not everything. I had some really big wrenches that went on that sailboat, and now I have bought some new big wrenches since then, just the ones I think I'll need. But
Have they done anything with that thing, or is it still laying on its side, or what?
no, the MDR it ended up going off the people's property back into the water. That's when the MDR got involved, and they more than likely got it out of there by now. And the guy that I signed it over to, that 18-year-old, he's gonna have to pay for all that.
Mm.
I got off the hook, boy. Ooh,
Yeah.
he wanted it. He had all that time to do something with it. I had somebody gonna come get it on a barge with a crane and put it on a barge and get it out of there, and it would be his property. I was gonna give it to him. And I legally sold that boat, but the guy I legally sold it to never got it in his name, and I didn't have the bill of sale to prove that we sold it, you know. And long story on that, but when I gave this boy this boat, I gave it to him. He went to Navigated Credit Union with me, and we had notary publics and had it done all legal, right? Legal, like. I said,
Right.
never again.
definitely dodged the bullet there, man.
And his
Yeah,
mother
that was
didn't
a
know he
wild
done
boat.
that. His mother wanted that boat off the property, and she was pissed when she found out he was legal, 18 years old, to go into a legal binding contract, and he got it over in his name. She was ticked off because now it's their problem.
Yeah.
They tried to sue me over the boat, and now the MDR sued them over it. What goes around comes around.
Yeah.
But
Karma.
he had plenty of time to get rid of it.
Right. Karma.
Yeah. Long story. We talked about that yesterday at that wedding shower with some Derek's folks over there. His woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned one thing from that. I'll never sell a boat again in my lifetime because it's too much of a headache.
Well, if you sell it, you better have all the documents and have your ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, that guy with MDR, I mean, he was easy to get along with. He was, yeah, we got people that sold a boat 20 years ago, and all of a sudden it pops up somewhere like that, just a derelict boat, and it's still in their name. The people that bought it never got it transferred and stuff. And then they got to find documents from 20 years ago, and they normally can't, thinking that was history, and they're in the same situation. I got a safe that I put that kind of stuff into,
Right.
just in case.
What the storms and everything. I mean, it's television, so I don't know if it's true or not. But you got those guys who go around and salvage things, off the rivers, whether it be uh, sunken logs or a boat that was pushed up into the swamp someplace from a storm. I mean, is that a real thing in that area where you're at, or what? Is that just
Oh
After
yeah.
storms, it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, I'm starting to get into the going out in the rivers looking for the old sinking cypress trees because I'm a
yeah,
woodworker as a hobbyist. I do it here for myself,
yeah,
and I'm always trying to find stuff like that because it's really neat the stuff you can make from it, and it ain't something you can just go buy unless you have lots of money.
yeah? I
Yeah.
can't remember the channel, but that's what that guy did. He actually found, and I don't remember the whole story, but when they would log, of course, obviously they would float the logs downstream. But he actually, would found documentation of like where it all started at, where where it was flowing through. So he sort of kind of knew where to start looking for sunken logs. And but they actually did they even purposely sink some logs for I guess for the reasons that Derek's talking about now. But wasn't there actually purposely sunk logs?
Oh yeah, they call it sinker cypress, and they sink it on purpose to create the character that it produces years later throughout that wood.
Heck, I
Okay.
didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a uncle and his wife. It's back when I was just a kid. They lived up in Hurley, Mississippi, and I'm assuming they got all these cypress knees out of Parker's Lake Swamp over there off the Pascagoula River. Oh, I said Pascagoula, Chris. The Pascagoula River Swamp. All them cypress knees, and they would cut them off with chainsaws, and they would make lamps out of them. Bore holes through them for the electrical cords and stuff, and have a little shade on them. And they were pretty.
Right.
They put like a varnish on them and everything. And
Yeah.
they used to make and sell those. I don't know where they got the cypress knees, but they live right there by the Pascagoula River Swamp. Yep, my dad's brother, Uncle Dennis, and Aunt Betty. That's who made them. That was back in the '60s. Man, I'm old.
Yeah. Give me both, man. I went to the doctor and he's ganging up on me, man.
I finally got a call from my doctor, or not my doctor, but somebody that works up there where I'm going. And they did a echocardiogram the last time I was in there, and I've been waiting for somebody to tell me the results. And she said there was something that was kind of related for me not taking my blood pressure pills. She goes, just stay on your blood pressure pills, watch your diet. I said, so I'm gonna keep kicking for a little while. Oh yeah, you're not going nowhere no time soon. Don't worry about it. So I guess my heart's pretty good shape. I don't know, but
yeah, that's what they want me to do now. He's gave me a prescription, changed my statin, gave me a prescription to go have that like a radiation type thing where they want to check the size of your heart arteries or something like that. It sounds like what you're talking about, a heart echo or something like that. But I'm gonna give it 3 months. See if that.
Yeah, they put some sort of grease on your chest right here, and they got this looks like a dildo that they put right there, and they got a laptop screen. They rubbing it around. You can see your heart beating. And she's drawing circles around this. I said, "What's that?" A little dark spot. I said, "Something wrong?" No, everything's fine. All right, now lay on your back. Same thing.
As long as so you're laid on your stomach at first.
Bonus word.
If you don't stop slapping me in my ass with that thing, lady.
Well, it looked more like a little massager thing, a little thing. Anyway, free beer for everyone if Russ says the bonus word Pascagoula.
Pascagoula.
To be such a small town, there were only 2 songs that I know of. There was Pascagoula Run that Jimmy Buffett done. Then there was the Squirrel That Went Berserk that Ray Stevens did.
Yeah.
The Sleepy Town of Pascagoula. I don't know of any more.
Shipyard.
I can only know how they're on a map. That is a small town. The Navy town. Shipyard is the biggest thing they got going.
There you go. Gogan Shipyard.
Yep. Shipyard.
So we touched base. Oh, I did get a kick out of that when you're talking about who's that out front with the lights were going off on that whatever the character you went into. I don't know who is that. Whatever you're doing earlier, I had to laugh my ass off on that one. I was holding it in.
Yeah.
I was holding it. Snot water came out my nose on that one.
Well, just south of the shipyard in Pascagoula, there used to be a Navy home port right there. And I forget who was president. I think it was one of the Bush boys or the Bush senior. But while he was president, they decided to have small Navy bases set up all across the Gulf Coast. Pascagoula was one of them. and it was mud lumps. It's from they dredged the channels and they made like these little islands out of them. Well, they built a home port there. It had nuclear silos and everything on it, and they built them not just here but other places along the Gulf Coast. And as soon as that administration went out, they closed all of them. God,
Yeah.
now it's the Coast Guard station. They're still utilizing it.
I'm sure it does, Angie.
So, Derek, just touch base again. We were talking about bringing them logs back up. I imagine those things have got away a fair amount, and obviously more at getting them out of the mud. But once they're out of the silt and the mud, I mean, are we talking 800 pounds, 1,000 pounds? I guess it all depends on size.
Several thousand pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you get something like that up? Them balloons that float?
Pontoons and winches.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do with them?
With all them shipyards.
Run them through a sawmill and start getting the wood out of them.
Oh, planks and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Huh.
Okay. So if all those shipyards around there in Pascagoula, I imagine a lot of people around there have like diver's license.
Got
No?
divers?
Yeah, certified diver certification.
I don't have my wallet, but I got mine. I'm a open water PADI certified, PADI PADI. Been certified since 76 or 77, somewhere in there. I was 17. I talked about it on my Jimmy Buffett video that, was talking about Pascagoula back. I'm going to give Chris a heart attack.
He's going to be drunk. If he goes live,
Yeah.
he'll be drunk.
Oh, he'll probably piss himself now.
Claim he only has one beer.
Oh, my goodness.
Pumpernickel.
Pumpernickel. I thought it was torque wrench.
Torque wrench.
I need to get some torque wrenches. That's one thing I don't have. Don't really need them for AC work, but
Yeah.
if I need them for my car one day, hopefully not.
I got torque wrench, but I don't have ratchet wrenches.
I got a whole set of ratchet wrenches that Derek gave me, standard and metric.
I got 3 drawers full of just metric and standards, but none of them are ratchets.
I want a set of them ratchet wrenches that are extra long and they got the ends that pivot like
Swivel heads, yeah.
Yeah, I want some of them.
There's a Christmas gift idea, Derek.
Oh yeah, yep. I can already see I'm gonna have to hook him up with some torque wrenches now.
Yeah, I used to have a torque wrench, but I'd like to have a small one that reads in
excuse me,
not foot pounds, but what's the other one? Not foot pounds, but foot inches, or
Right.
whatever it is. I want one of them. I want one that reads in foot pounds.
I got torque wrenches that range from a few inches long for 1/4-inch sockets all the way up to 1-inch socket torque wrenches that are 5 foot long.
Wow.
Good.
Holy crap.
Jeez.
That's what I had
Get
to
some leverage on that.
wheels.
That's all them diesel trucks they work on.
Yeah, you can get some leverage with that. Dang, gone.
That's something else I ain't got. I ain't got no pull handles.
Yeah.
I don't. There again, for what I'm doing, I don't need them. But
Yeah.
it's still good to have them.
Yeah.
I'll have all of it eventually. I used to own all that, man. Over the years, if you don't keep up with it, if you got boys, you're gonna lose it. There ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I did the same thing to my dad. My dad had a wood toolbox made out of wood and had his name that was painted on it. Some artist did it. and he was a lossman at the shipyard in Pascagoula, and he had these layout tools. He was a lossman, and it's all computerized nowadays. But back then, a lossman was in this room on his hands and knees, and they made templates for everything that went on a ship. And he had a French square. Do you know what that is? It's kind of round and comes around.
Herbie. Yep.
A French square somewhere within it's got every curve that you can find on a ship.
Really?
You know,
Never heard of
I
it.
don't know how to use one. I mean, he did. That guy was smart when it comes to mathematics and knowing all that stuff. And he taught me a lot about making saddles for pipe. And he was not a pipe fitter, but he knew how to do all that because he was a lossman. He could make anything. But even if you see a U.S. Navy ship, the bow comes like this,
Right.
and you'll see the number and the number of the ship and the name. Those look straight to your eye. Those numbers and letters are not straight. They have to make them look straight because they're on that curvature. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when they put them on there, it looks straight to your eye, but they're not actually straight when they make them.
Like an illusion.
Kind of weird, yeah.
Yeah. Neat. Well, we just hit 2 hours.
Yeah,
For,
enjoyed it, guys.
You gonna save it?
what's that?
You gonna save the rest of your time?
Yeah, I'll say the rest of the time.
The
I
5
think-
hours.
Yeah, they were gracious to give me 5 hours, so I got a little under 3 hours left. So I'll hold on to them. It's like being back normal again with the StreamYard. That's what I will say.
Well, I had to take a double look. You sent me that link, and I sent it to Derek, and I went, "Whoa, wait a minute, that's StreamYard." And I'm like, I wonder if he meant to do that. That's the reason I text you.
Yeah, Simon and I talked about Tuesday. And I was like, they gave me 5 hours. I think he still got his 20 hours, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have Derek up on the stage. People asking questions, and maybe someone else wanting to come up on the stage. I know what's going to happen in StreamYard, so let me just go ahead and start off with StreamYard, and then have a bunch of hiccups like we did last Sunday with the other one. I still have to call Eddie and ask him some questions. I never have gotten to that phone call yet, but there's my note right there. Eddie, Devil Dog. Still ain't done nothing with it.
Yeah, it's probably getting Derek's bedtime. I know he goes to bed usually about this time because he gets up so early.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit it here soon because look like I'm headed out towards Memphis in the morning.
Memphis.
Yep.
Good
So,
God.
Derek, thanks for
Memphis, just inside of Mississippi there.
Yeah.
So, Derek, thanks for hopping on and sharing the story with us, and sharing your plans with us. I like the ideas. I mean, breads. I think that would take off. I really do. Bring in some outdoor stuff. I really thought that would take off. That's what I try to do. I mean, I got one video camping by the riverside, but and I knew I wasn't going to catch no fish because I knew that water.
Right.
So I actually stopped and bought fish, perch, before I went camping, and that's what I cooked up because I knew I wasn't going to be able to get that line out to where the water got deep, but it was still a good time, and I plan on doing more of that, But we'll see.
Here's a little
thank you very much.
I'll be doing some fishing, and you'll see some other things that are related to fishing, like running trout lines and catfish boxes up on the river and all.
Yeah.
Yep. Very cool.
Here's a little tidbit I was just thinking about. One video I did real early on when I first started the first place I was living. My neighbor gave me a pork shoulder off of a wild hog that her boyfriend killed. And that video did good. And my channel was really new, but that video took off because it was wild game. And I had a lot of people like, man, you got any more videos like on venison, this, that, and the other? So yeah, if you have an opportunity to do those, do them.
Yeah.
They'll do good.
We got I'll have a lot of the hunting course after the end of this year because hunting season for us really don't come in for me till around November. It starts getting cold. We get a little bit earlier, but I won't go in the woods and hunt until it cools off and them rattlesnakes have done disappeared.
Yeah.
But we got 6,500 acres up there that we lease out that I'll be showing a lot of hunting type stuff at. So
Yep.
that's up in North Alabama.
Be fun. Russ, I know we'll see you again.
All right, man.
I think you said you like doing these lives. We like having you up on lives.
Yeah, I like doing these lives. I've been kind of addicted to it the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I never do them on my channel hardly ever, but I like coming up here and hanging out with y'all.
Well, hopefully I can get my camera situated out and figure out what's going on. I enjoyed this.
I believe me. I understand the frustration. I can look right at something flashing red, and it won't even click to my head. Turn that off, and it'll work. But it's something super simple, I'm sure.
He'll figure it out after it's too late. But yeah, you need to figure that out in case you are on lives in the future or whatever, you know.
No, I'll figure it out. If I gotta go search YouTube and watch a YouTube video on it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Chat, we thank you for being here with us again. As always, we appreciate you. Wouldn't be a live stream without the chat. Wouldn't be a live stream without the panel guests also. But I enjoy it. You know, this is been doing it in many years. Crawl before you walk, and you know, I just think that I'm still hunched over, but I'm still enjoying it, and just keep coming. We'll keep bringing stuff to you. Thank y'all, and we're going to end it.
Later, guys. Later, Derek. Later, Cat.
Sure.
End stream.